today. It's a cold, wintry and wet day here in South Australia. So I felt like making myself a really spicy, warming and bright soup for dinner. And if it's cold and damp where you are, maybe you would like to have something like this for your dinner, or even if it isn't, it's really delicious soup. So we're going to be making today spicy pumpkin and lentil soup. So I love soups, especially in winter. I always make them really thick and chunky so that they're really a full meal, not just a soup. So I've got a onion already cooking down here, just one chopped onion, cooking in a couple of tablespoons of sunflower oil. So when I'm cooking, it doesn't really matter if you don't have the exact ingredients. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. And I'll just wave at you. So it doesn't really matter if you don't have the exact ingredients. It's just whatever you've got in your store cupboard. And especially with soups, you can make it up. You know, what have I got in my cupboard and what kind of soup am I going to make tonight? So even though I'm going to tell you the ingredients I'm putting in here, feel free to substitute with anything that you don't like, you don't have, and just be creative, because you'll always come up with something delicious. So because it's so cold and wintry, I'm looking at lovely, bright, sunshiny ingredients. So I've got some red lentils here, which I've had soaking in water. That was about 200 grams of red lentils. But again, the quantities are not exact. I love these. They're like little bright yellow sunshines, aren't they? And then we've got some other sunshiny ingredients here. This beautiful, bright, orangey pumpkin. I have no idea how much that is. You just have to visual. Whoops. It was about a quarter of a small pumpkin, but I don't know if that's really helpful. Whatever you have. And if you don't have pumpkin, it can be carrot. If you don't have red lentils, it could be yellow split peas or any kind of dal. Then we've also got some nice bright sunshiny spices here. I've got turmeric, paprika, and a little bit of a red curry powder mix. If you don't have curry powder, you could use cumin and coriander. And there's also some fenugreek in here, which is these little granules. So if you don't have them or you don't like them, feel free to miss them out. I've got some tiny little red chilies from my daughter's garden. Thank you, Esme. And I don't like things too spicy. I just like a little hint of spice. So I've just chopped up 3 tiny red chilies because I think there's some spice in that curry powder. So I'm not going to put the rest of those in the soup. And you can use any kind of chilies you have or like, or none at all. It doesn't matter. I've also got some curry leaves here. I love the flavor of curry leaves. I'm going to put them in now. Now the onions cooked down a little bit. I'm going to put all the curry leaves in, just whole. And at the same time, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of black mustard seeds. Now, if you don't know about black mustard seeds, you need to put them in after you finish frying the onion and before you add any of the wet ingredients. And what they will do is, as you stir them around in the oil and get hot, they will pop. So if you have a low frying pan, they're going to start popping out. Probably in one this height will be okay, but who knows. So you may need to put a lid. Can you hear them popping? They've stopped popping now. There we go. Pop, pop, pop. I love that. And then once they have popped, so they go from being a kind of black to a lighter grey, and you can see that they've popped. Again, doesn't need to be exact. Just a minute or so. Then next I'm going to put in some fresh ginger, some fresh turmeric because I happen to have it. Don't stress. If you haven't got it, the powder stuff is fine. But ginger and turmeric, you really can't overdo because so good for you at improving your digestion, and you're enhancing your immunity and helping to ward off colds and things. Same with garlic. I've got about I'd say 3 fat cloves of garlic. Mine were tiny, as you can see, so I put about 6 in. If you don't like garlic, don't put it in. So I've got that all chopped up already, and I'm just going to put it all in here. Nice, bright, sunshiny. I'll let that cook down for just a little bit. Now, I thought some of you might look at garlic and ginger and think, oh, it's such a pain to prepare. I don't want to bother with that. So I just thought I'd show you how I do it. It's not rocket science, but with turmeric, I tend to just take the ends off, and I'll cut off any little knobbles. And then usually just with a potato peeler, you can just slice down the sides of it. Doesn't matter if you leave a little bit of the skin on. You could even just scrub it and leave some of the skin on anyway. So then you get this lovely bright yellow thing inside. You may get yellow fingers. If you're bothered about that, wear gloves. So then I would do that, and then I'll show you what I do next after I've prepared the ginger. With the ginger, I think it's harder to use a potato peeler, so I tend to just, it's a bit wasteful, I know, but I do use the trimmings in chai. So I tend to just go around the edges and kind of just square it off with my knife. There you go. So it's ended up looking kind of chunky. And then these pieces I will either boil up into a ginger and turmeric tea. If you saw a couple weeks ago, I gave you the recipe for that. You could use the peelings from both of those in that. Or make it into a nice homemade chai, which is, again, another wonderful wintry thing. So what do you do with this? I've got one of these wonderful beasts, which is a microplane grater. Alternatively, you can use the small holes on the side of a normal cheese grater. If you chop it up into chunks, it's going to stay chunky and hard, and it's not too good to bite into. But then you just rub it on the microplane. They're both the same. Just do that, and then there you go. You don't need all of that because I already put the other one in. So then at this point, I'm going to add my spices. There we go. If I was cooking for you, I wouldn't be sticking my fingers in it. But as it's just for me, that's okay. I know you all do that at home. So this is looking really nice now. I'll show you. Look at the beautiful bright colours. And you can see when you cook spices in with oil, all the bright sunshiny colours come out. So again, just cook the spices for 30 seconds or a minute or something. And then let me just think, where are we up to? Okay, so at this point we're ready to put in the vegetables and the liquid, pretty much. Just let that cook a tiny bit more. We're also going to have some fresh coriander in the soup because I love it. Some people hate it. If you hate it, do not have it. That's absolutely fine. So what I've done is I have chopped the stalky ends up to about here, like getting rid of most of the stalks. And I'm going to cook that part in with the soup. And then the leafy parts I have chopped quite coarsely. And that's because I like to sprinkle it on the top when I serve it. And I'll serve it with some coconut yogurt and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Another beautiful sunshiny energy going in there. And that coriander. I don't put the salt or the pepper in yet. I think when you're cooking pulses, it's better not to add salt. It makes them cook a little bit slower if there's salt in the liquid. So look, I'll just take the twig out from the curry leaves that I can see sitting in there. So I'm going to add now the pumpkin and the lentils. Soaked lentils. I'll just put those end bits in a minute. I've got a can of diced tomatoes. That's going in now. And here I have about a litre of vegetable stock. So this is a homemade vegetable stock, but honestly, that really is not important. A stock cube or a stock powder is fine. I'm just going to wash out the tomato tin with this stock so as to get all of the tomatoey bits. And I'm going to wash out this red lentils to get out all of the lentil bits. I don't like wasting stuff. Always try and reuse everything, even the ginger peel, as you saw. So then, all that's in. See what that looks like now. You can see it's going to be a beautiful colour. So just turn up that heat. And I'm going to bring that to a boil. Then I will turn it down to just a gentle simmer. Probably put a lid on it, I think, is a good idea with this one. I don't want to lose too much of that liquid. So I cooked this for, I think, about half an hour. You can probably tell how long it was since I last saw you. And it's nice and thick and chunky. And when I press these pieces of pumpkin, they're just mushing against the side. So I would eat it like this. This is quite nice. But what I sometimes like to do is just pulse it a little bit with my stick blender. So just pressing into some of the bigger chunks of pumpkin so that it's not completely blended, but just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I think I'm going to have mine just like that. So make your mouths water a little bit. Let me serve it up. What are you having for dinner anyway? Let me know in the comments. And let me know if you made this. That'd be awesome. I'm not going to ask you to hashtag me on Instagram or anything, but really it's nice when you know that somebody's made your recipe. So I am going to, it's not too spicy for me, but if it is a little bit too spicy, spicier than you meant it to be, then here's a great way to deal with that, is to put some coconut yogurt in it. Just turn the sound on my phone off, sorry about that. Then a sprinkle of coriander, squeeze of lemon juice, and I like quite a bit of salt in mine, but it's good to let people add their own, I think. And then some pepper. Yummy sunshine in a bowl. Have a wonderful evening.